Sir, good evening, sir. May I start, sir?
Please start, Amresh sir.
Thank you, sir.
Please start, Amresh sir.
Good evening to one and all. A warm welcome to 42nd International Workshop on Quantitative Research, Descriptive Research Design and Method under International Workshop Series, a series of 100 programs every Friday 5 to 7 p.m. Research and Publication for Happiness and Development, jointly organized by Internal Quality Assurance Cell, IQAC, Northeastern Hill University, and Golden Jubilee Year of NEHU, May 2022 to May 2023, and the Indian Society for Training and Development, ISTD, Shillong Chapter, Meghalaya, in collaboration with the Department of Philosophy and IQAC MORAN College, affiliated to Dibrugarh University, MORANHAT, Assam, India, and this. A warm welcome to today's keynote speaker, my guru, collaborator, Professor P. Chinnaya sir, Professor Prabhasankar Sukla sir, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Mithali Kaur ma'am, Principal, Moran College, Assam, Dr. Rajendra Prasad Bartakur sir, IQAC Coordinator, Moran College, Dr. Srutasini Gugoi madam, Head Department of Philosophy and collaborator, Mipun sir, Chairman, ISTD, Shillong Chapter, Professor A.S. Dikshit sir, Director, IQAC, NEHU, Shillong. A warm welcome to all our participants. Today's topic, quantitative research, descriptive design, and we are using both in qualitative and quantitative. Maximum of my scholars, they're always going through descriptive method. We have different types of experimental methods, non-experimental here, and maximum school students, college students, teachers, researchers, whenever they were supposed to explain something, they're always describing the data. So descriptive method is very, very popular in the qualitative and both quantitative. Maximum, we are using different types of rating scales, questionnaires, and schedules, especially the social sciences and education. Professor Chennai sir is going to cover regarding philosophical aspects of descriptive research, what to think and how to think, critical thinking, analysis and synthesis. Every method, every research, identification of problem is the first step. Then the report writing is the last, in between. Maybe some methods, they have more in steps, some other less. So here research design is also in general. Whenever you are going to collect data while using rating scales or questionnaire or checklist or interview schedule, so how you are going to collect and how you are going to analyze these things in the research design in the narrow aspects. If you take a broader aspect, research design covers each and everything, but in general under methodology, research method, all those things will come under population sample, sampling design, tools for data collection, data analysis, interpretation, and research method, everything will come. So with this, I welcome you one and all, and we'll start our program with Vande Mataram before going to invite Professor Chinnaya sir to deliver sir keynote address.
शीतला सस्यश्यामला मातरं वन्दे मातरम् शुभ्रज्योत्स्ना पुलकितयामिनी पुल्लकुसुमित द्रुमदलशोभिनी सुहासिनी सुमधुरभाषिणी सुखदां वरदां मातरं वन्दे मातरम् वन्दे मातरम्.
Thank you. I am requesting Professor P. Chennai sir to deliver keynote address. Over to Professor Chennai sir.
Respectable coordinator, Dr. Amare sir, who is the designer of the program, who is doing very actively these conferences very nicely, and all the participants of this program. Research, such are very important for human development and human growth. These are solving various types of human problems in the world. Human beings are using research and search for innovations, to know discoveries, to develop a standard of living, to create more research methods. All these are occurring through the help of the outlooks, the methods, the approaches of research and search. We have developed scientifically and technologically with the highest manner through search and research. We have developed spiritually also to know about oneself through the help of search and research. These are very useful for the knowing the external world and the internal world. Here the qualitative research and the quantitative research methods. So here quantitative research methods relating with the numbers, calculations, the qualitative research, concepts, words and everything. These are interrelated for any research to measure quantitative research methods. At the same time, we need qualitative research to analyze various types of concepts. So here in this program, I'm sharing some research findings. The great philosopher, great spiritual person, a person who changed in the China. His name is Bodhidharma. Bodhidharma born in India near Mahabalipuram or Kanchipuram in the 3rd and 4th centuries in the king's family. Is a princess. He has a great arts. He is an exemplary person. He is a meditator, philosopher, warrior, karate fighter, kung fu, everything. He knows many martial arts. He has gone to China by. She has given more training in the yoga, in martial arts, various types of skills relating with war and everything. In this period, just like we have experienced in India, Corona, in China in the 3rd and 4th century, like this great dangerous disease in China. Many people in the villages are dying, just like a bird's dying. So in those time, the Bodhidharma was there in China. He has gone there to give more spiritual things, Mahayana Buddhism, knowing about oneself, to know about great things, to tell something about the meditation and everything. So in some villages, many people died through pandemic. So very dangerous disease. Find countless people deaths in the villages. Some people approached Bodhidharma in China during the period of 3rd and 4th centuries. He was in the monastery. With the help of Ayurvedic herbalic medicine, he cured many people. He controlled the epidemic, dangerous disease in China. He has saved many lives of the people. He was a great person in those days. He has become a godly person. At present also in the China, the Chinese people have constructed temples for Bodhidharma. Is a god for them. 3-4 years back, the Chinese president have come to Mahabalipuram limping, and our great Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji also. They met in Mahabalipuram. They spent some time. So the Chinese leader have come to the great contribution of Bodhidharma. Is a god in China also. Many people are worshipping in the villages in the China. He contributed a lot during the dangerous disease spreading period. With a courageous manner, he cured diseases. He has become a god, an exemplary person, a savior, a protector in China. This is small biographical aspect because he has gone from Tamil Nadu at present, the Mahabalipuram area and the Kanchipuram area. In those days, one kingdom, one of the sons of the king, is a great exemplary person. He contributed a lot in China, curing people. He's a great person to see the birthplace of Bodhidharma. The Chinese premier has come to see the place. Such a great person is a great philosopher. He said about many things, how to live. Here, human beings are living in the time. If human beings are remembering about their past, they may feel unhappy. They may have unpleasant experiences. They may get depression. That's why he's telling, don't live in the past. That is a dead. That is a fast. If you live in the past, you may face so many problems. Sometimes you may get pleasantness, but it is not good for happy mood. If you remember about future, you may get anxiety. If you remember about your past, you may get depression, despair. If you remember about your future, you may get anxiety. So if you live at present, there is a possibility. But here, Bodhidharma is saying, free past, free from future, free from present, free from time. That is the most important thing for the human. He is telling, all problems are occurring through mind. Mind is a fast. You need more intelligence. What do you mean by intelligence? Intelligence comes from awareness. What do you mean by awareness? So here awareness means watching, moment to moment. So here Bodhidharma says how to live here in the world to have a happy life. He's telling live moment to moment. Don't bother about your past. Don't bother about your present. Don't bother about your future. This moment is the most important thing in the life. Live with a careful manner, with a total attention. If you live this moment, then there is a problem for you. If you are fast or if you go for your future, that is a danger for you. All human sufferings are happening because of remembrances of the past and the future experiences of human beings. That's why free from your past and future is the most important. Know about yourself is the most important thing in the life. So because of human being mind, human beings are acquired the great evils just like a greed and a delusion. So here, if you expect anything, there is a suffering for you. If you are expecting anything, you may get bliss. If you have more memories, if you have more problems, if you have no understanding about your mind, then you may face the problems of greed. What do you mean by greed? So we have a needs, desires, ambition. What ambition? Excessive expectation. Here greed, excessive expectation with a disorder, with a harmful manner. That is a greed. That is a very danger. So anger. What do you mean by anger here? So here it is a inner fire. It is a dangerous thing. It is a electricity. It is a fire. If you start giving, spreading anger in the external world and the internal world, that is a danger. So when you are in the angry mood, you won't have any balance. That is a danger. It may destroy your life, your family, your society. All wars are occurring because of anger. All murders, all killings, or conflicts are occurring because of anger. That is a psychological fire. That is a dangerous thing for human intellect and human wisdom. So here delusion. So here it is called illusion. So here in the world, if you see anything exactly what it is, then there is no problem for you. If you are living in the illusory manner, with a false manner, then there is a danger. Because of illusory beliefs, we are facing so many problems. In the name of religions, in the name of caste, in the name of various types of illusory conceptions, human beings are fighting each other. They are killing each other. So they are not realizing their own true nature. That's why free from greed, anger, and delusion are most important. So here Bodhidharma says, here if you want to live very happily in the world, you have to follow meditation. You have to take more power from your meditation, live with the intuition. Meditation and intuition are most important for integration of world, for peaceful living. If you are spending on worship of idols, or if you are concentrating on the scriptures, you won't get, because the scriptures are words. The worshipping things are non-living forms. If you worship anything, that is not good for your enlightenment. If you are telling something in the form of words, you won't get enlightenment. So here Bodhidharma says, if you want to enlightenment, neither scriptures can help nor statues can help. The only understanding is you have to go inside, see your inner nature, clean your inner nature, get enlightenment. That is the most important thing in the life. Then all other things are secondary. Your mind is a state of purity. You are a Buddha state. Here Buddha state means awakened state, awareness state. So everything is within your mind. You have to clean your mind very positively. So if you see in the tree, a tree has a roots. If you cut, automatically the branches, the flowers, the fruits, all the things will disappear. They go with dead form. In the same manner, if you are free from all mental conceptions, you may get more purity, just like a mirror like tin, then your life will be very pleasant. So cleaning of your memories are most important. Here Bodhidharma says, free oneself from words is liberation. So here, words are not things. The word love is not love. The war is not war. The word affectionate not affection. The word murder is not murder. It is an identification. But these words are creating psychologically, biologically, externally very effective manner. That's why use carefully human language. Understand the meaning of the words. At the same time, you have to free from the words. If you use negative words, harmful words in the human affairs, automatically you may get more bad consequences relating with their behaviors and interactions and the all other affairs. That's why through watching, keep your words in a silent place. Use your words with a careful manner. Without examination, without purification, don't use any words. So if you use any word without using anything, then there is a danger for your life. So detachment is the most important thing in the life. So if you have no attachment, when you are detached from anything, you may get more space. So here, the ultimate truth is beyond words. Doctrines are words. They are not the way. So you have to go beyond the words. So what is your purpose here? So here you have to know about your mind. So as a mortals, we are ruled by conditions, not by ourselves. So here you have an inner source. So if you want to see fish in the water, you have to see the quality of the water also. If you have no clean water, a muddy water, if the fish is there inside the water, you won't see fish. In the same manner, you have soul in our body just like a fish in the water. If you want to see fish in the water, you have to maintain clean water. At the same time, if you know about your soul, you have to free from all desires, expectations, attachments, free from all the things. When your mind is free from all types of things, you can see your soul. Your soul, you can get more intuition, more guidance from your soul. That is the most important. If you start your life through the help of soul, you can operate your mind. So the mind is a bridge between soul and the body. You need a more healthy mind. So this mind is a contributed a lot for science, technology, search and research and everything. But with the help of awareness, the quality of soul is awareness. We have to operate awareness every moment of our life. Otherwise, there is a danger. So here, the mind is a unlimited one. We have a powerful, unlimited source. So aware greatest agent for change. So if you want to change your life, you have to watch every moment. Doing anything without any expectation, that is also most important. So here Bodhidharma says you have to live very peaceful manner. That peace comes from only with awareness. So you have to do here in the world with a careful manner. How to live here in the world? What is your relation with the nature, with a human being? Just like as a bee gathering nectar does not harm or disturb the color and the flower. So do the wise move through the world. So here bees are going to the flowers and they are not harming any branches or flowers, and they are taking honey from the flowers and they are taking some material for sending other flower for their life and love and affection. So in the same manner, we have to do our life with a careful manner. So that is the most important thing in the world. So here, how to live here. So here we have to live moment to moment. So here if you start life with a dangerous manner, if you start anything with a illusory manner, there is a danger. There is no such thing as a self. So you have a purity, you have a lighting inside the soul. Everything constantly changes. Nothing is fixed. So you have to see moment to moment. Things we value are empty. So here we have many things we have to understand very carefully. Attachment is the source of suffering. If you are attached with the consciousness, your people and everything, that is the problem. If you are free from attachment, then you can see truth exactly what it is. Free from attachment is the source for getting more freedom, more livelihood. So here in the universe, everything is connected. You are not an isolated person. You are not alone. So everything is connected in the universe. So the entire world is a one. We have to understand the actual nature of the world. So here you and I are the connected people in the universe. So then you have to live very careful manner. Our logic and our nations are creating some problems. That's where be present, be mindful, fully experience each moment. So here, live moment to moment, now or never. This moment is the most important. Don't bother about the future and the past. So all the psychological diseases are occurring because of remembrance of past and the future. If you think about the uncertainty of the future, if you think about the success and failure of your programs in the future, or if you think about your ending of life in the future, or if you remember the past bad experiences, the danger. So here Bodhidharma says, live this moment. Don't bother about any statues, any God's pictures or anything you may worship. So worship is not the solution for read many books. The books are filled with words. So here you may not get through statues and the you have to go only inside through awareness about self-awareness every moment. That is the most important to solve many problems. Meditation is the way for awakening. Be free from greed and desire. So here you have various types of greeds and desires. You have to free from that. So what is the great message to get a peace of mind? So love, you have to give love just like of a power. So here love, what do you mean by love? Here giving, sharing. So it is a purity, it is the light of the soul. You have to spread love without having any expectation, without having any thought. That type of love is based on compassion. That is the source for happiness of the mind, peace of mind. Live with a simple manner. So don't have any attachments. We live with a simple manner means a life of simplicity is desires, expectations, attachments, more seekings. So when you are free from desires and expectations, your mind will become very free, will become innocent, then your life will be very pleasant. So if you have a more desires, more expectations, more burdens, more things, then your life will be very harmful because you have a two types relating with life, psychosomatic relation, somatic psycho relation. So here, if you have a good mind, happy mind, then your body will be very pleasant. If you have a good health, then your mind will be very pleasant. That's why here Bodhidharma said, be peaceful in the mind, have a good health, then your life will be very pleasant. Otherwise, there is a danger of existence. So display gratitude and respect for everything. Gratitude is most important. If you take any help from anybody, you have to give gratitude. Here, Bodhidharma, when the pandemic, very dangerous, just like a corona in the 3rd and 4th centuries, big calamity occurred in the China at the time. The adventurous manner with great spiritual experience and the great medicine, he cured many people in China. At present, God, we find in the China many villages the temples of Bodhidharma, because they remembered, Chinese remembered the great philosopher, great guru from India who has stayed there in the situations. He cured many people with the pandemic disease. That is a great contribution. So after maybe more than 1800, the Chinese leaders have come to Mahabalipuram to see the birth of Bodhidharma.
Sir, you are not audible, sir.
Free from past, future, present, and everything. Live with eternity, with a timelessness manner. Do good things with innocent manner. Your attitude should be one ambition. You have to live with a pure. Respect all. Entire world is a one family. Do some good things in the society. Then only you will be very pleasant and happy. So it is a good for us to remember the contribution of Bodhidharma. Is a great philosopher. He said, if you want to get more freedom and happiness, if you want to see change in the world, want to create a better, if you want to solve wars, destructions, violence, conflicts, and all the things, you have to use watchfulness. Watchfulness is the solution to clean all your mental illusions, mental divisions. It may avoid wars and destructions. It may create mental peace. If you use awareness, then your life will be pleasant. Have a contact with nature. You are whole person in the universe. You are connected with the entire universe. You are not a alone person. You have connection with every species of this universe. That's why extend help, give respect for the nature, give respect for all human beings, do good things, live with the pleasure. Amareshwar, I concluded this speech.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Now I am requesting the participant to interact with Professor Chennai, sir. Over to the participants.
So here, the Bodhidharma, we have to remember in this connection, he born in the 3rd and 4th century in the Tamil Nadu, in the free. He visited to China. In those times, he cured many pandemic diseases just like a corona. So he has become a god. He has become a god. In every village in the China, we find the Bodhidharma. So the main essence of this, free from past, future, present, do good things. Watchfulness is most important. Your mind is responsible all your problems. Clutches of mind is most important. You have more dangerous things in the life, anger, greed, and illusion. So you have to see world exactly what it is. free from dangerous things. Don't have too much of anger. So live very peaceful manner. Live moment to moment. He is telling, don't bother about your past and future. Living moment to moment. This moment is your goal. Don't bother about anything. Live with a timeless manner. This is some essence, Amareswar.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. So I'm requesting our participants, Srinivasulu Reddy Anna, Sushila Madam, and others to interact. We have sufficient time. Please, over to the participants.
Hello, Namaste, sir.
Anyone? Yeah, please.
Okay. Please say something. Please.
Hello, Namaste, sir.
Namaste. Sir.
I am Pawan Kumar, sir. Your dear student, sir. Hello.
Please ask
Tell me.
Pawan, sir. Please ask. Continue, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay, all are okay,
Yes,
sir.
remember.
All are very good seminar. All are you demonstrating very well, sir. But our India, whenever sir developed country, this
Yes.
Webex seminars all are very good. That very good conducting and very good administration. But our India, why developed country? Our all universities, so many PG students are done. Studied already done. But that PG student, so many people are unemployed persons, poor poverty persons, no valuable at all our course in our life, in our societies or life, sir.
Yes.
That,
Good. So if you observe the life of the Bodhidharma,
sir,
he
but sir, our India, two drawbacks, sir, mainly. First thing, lack money of interesting living life. One thing first. Then no evidence of money, records and everything. The first thing, sir. Second thing, our education system, no evidences. Our education system, no evidences. Like LKG to PhD level, no evidences. Pedagogy of school of pedagogy teaching systems. These two things are our Indian drawbacks. Our India is always developing country, sir. These two things are how can remove scientifically, like foreign countries way, like America, Russia, Japan, China. These are developed countries. These two things are avoid to follow normative sciences living life. But our India uh, lack money of interesting living life. One thing. Second thing, that our education system, no every man not good to doing that jobs. That no evidences. LKG to PhD level. These two things are our perfectly, effectively, scientifically to doing or to doing very well. That our India is developed country, sir. These two things, how can that?
okay, clear. Your question is very clear. You have said 2 times. That is a very clear.
Sir, Chennai, sir, these two things, sir, how can
Next
that?
you will ask. Yes,
These two
your
things,
your question is very clear.
normative
Then
scientifically, how can that researching way, how can
after
implementation, sir, our Indian every man people, sir.
okay,
This is my
okay. So
this
here,
is our aim and
okay, understand.
okay, sir, okay.
So here, in this connection, I'll tell you about. I said about Bodhidharma. We have got China who treated the people in there who have become a god and with a great prince and a great philosopher. He's telling where there is a greed, where there is a desire, where there is a there we don't find any order. Here in our country, we need people who are free from anger, free from attachment, free from greed and all types of attachments. So when there is a self-centeredness, then your implementation process is different. So not only in the education, but in the economy also, we need the pure people. That's why Bodhidharma is telling for the development of the world, for the development of the country, we need a great intelligence. Intelligence is based on awareness. Here, intelligence is function of nature, the protection of all human beings, the women and men, the economy, all efforts of the society. So here, we expect leaders based on intelligence and intuition. So these are very essential. Here we have to understand solve the black money problem, the education problem, the unemployment problem. So here we are playing have a ordinary willpower. Where there is a will, there is a way. You have unlimited energy. Your mind power has limitless. Estimating your energy. You have to estimate with high level. Give scope for your mind. Give scope for clearing of your energy. Then you start your life. Then you can solve many problems. We need people, policy makers in India who are endowed with intelligence, who are endowed with freedom and intuition. Then we will get solved all these problems, Pawan Kumar. Amresh sir.
Pavan sir, got it, sir? Pavan sir?
Yes.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Hello, sir. Hello.
So.
Hello, sir. Sir, these two
Hello.
things are that how can that avoiding, sir? These two things how can avoiding scientifically? Black money interesting of living life. And our education system no www.com evidences no. LKG level. These two things are not perfectly our Indian country. Then suffering all the peoples. Our healthy men physiological condition how can function? Breathing, respiration process, these are all same way. Healthy condition how can destroying healthiness over happiness. That person over happiness that leads to suffering. These things how can that maintain scientific providing interesting living life. Then second thing LKG level recording systems. Two things are following.
Okay.
That research works, sir, our Indian country. Okay, thank you, sir.
I have answered Amresh sir.
Sir.
Amresh sir.
Sir, listening, sir.
You ask somebody to ask question.
Okay, sir. So, Dr. Jayachitra madam. Yaddanapudi. Hemaji.
Hemagari is available.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I'm not available, sir. Thank you, sir.
Hello.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
This is
Very good.
this is a very new topic to us. Because never knew about such a great doctor. Bodhidharma.
Yes. So he's saying
Sir.
He in the country with Amresh,
Sir.
are you your voice?
Yes, sir. It is clear, sir.
So here our Hemagaru asked this new topic Bodhidharma. So he's telling many good things in the example in our country constitution.
Yes, sir.
We have a democratic republic, socialist, secular, sovereign.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So here we have a executive, legislature, judiciary. We have a fundamental rights. We have a direct policy. So in 1835, Macaulay combined the Indian Penal Code. Then we have Indian Nuclear Code. So in 1878, the has formed one act, that is the Indian Arms Act. So many things happened for human control. But here the Bodhidharma is telling the order comes from intelligence. When there is a mind which is free,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
which is free from expectation,
Sir.
which is free from desire, free from greed, it has uh, trunk. Then wherever you are, whatever the thing related, you may protect men, women, children, youth, age. You may protect the animals, the birds, the nature. So Bodhidharma said, in the universe,
Sir.
you may act very nicely, your decisions may be very effective. For that, purification of mind is the most important thing. A mind with love is the most important thing. Do good things, live moment to moment. So don't bother about your past and the future. This moment is the most important. Love should be your way of life. Compassion should be way of life. Protection, giving, sharing, that is the most important. These things we find in the Bodhidharma's philosophy. These are very relevant in the modern society.
Yes, sir. We have to learn all these things, sir. Certainly.
To
Sir.
create changes in the behavior of the criminals, the politicians, the bad people, also have more greed, those who are violating many things, those who are getting more accumulation power, and those who are getting yes, yes, yes. So thank you, Hemagaru. Nice. So you have said.
Sir, namaste, sir. Chennai, sir. And also,
Sir Subrayadana, Dr. Subrayadana, principal, sir.
Amar. Hi, Amar.
Hi, Anna. Sir, Chennai, sir.
Sir, Chennai, sir. Good evening, sir. How did Bodhidharma died?
Sir got disconnected, I think, sir.
No, not disconnected.
Oh,
Maybe. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Subrayadana, please.
How did Bodhidharma died? He is Indian, but he lives in China. How did Bodhidharma died?
Amre. Hello.
Sir, Bodhidharma, sir.
How did Bodhidharma died? Any region?
What was the cause of his death, sir?
So here, yes, Amresh sir, what is the question, Amresh sir?
How Bodhidharma died, sir? How Bodhidharma died?
Who is
Subrayana.
He died in the pandemic situation. He has treated people in the China, and later stage, some people have come for fighting. He got victory, but in the pandemic period, he cured many people, many people. He will become a god. Then later stage in the pandemic condition, he manner. He was a very victorious. Are you following, please?
Yes, yes, sir.
Amresh sir. So
please,
here, Bodhidharma. So this is a very hello. Hello.
Sir, sir.
Amresh sir.
Chennai, Subrayana.
Okay, Amar.
You got answer from sir?
Okay, it's okay. Some conflicts is there.
Okay, actually movie is there, na Surya
What is
movie
the
in
question?
South India.
Yeah. That movie is not telling truth. That is
No.
only one.
Actually, the local they given poison to Bodhidharma, just like a Socrates. The movie says none.
Yeah. I know.
Bodhidharma tried to leave China.
Amresh sir.
Yes, sir.
Amresh sir.
Sir.
So here is a films are frictions. They are illusionary. They may say right. They may create many things, but it is there it is a controversial thing, but our concern is here relating with his message. So he has become a god in the China, and he is a princely state person in Tamil Nadu, and he is a person of great martial arts. Philosopher is tell neither scripture can help nor statue. If you are depending on books, are they worshipping? You want to get more things, do awareness, watch everything, but don't bother about fast and future. Live present. This is very useful to avoid caste, religion, cult, all types of so living at present is free from all social evils. So here many philosophical things are there. They are very great concern at present for our society. But the depth of Bodhidharma, that may be controversial, but that is not our concern now. So our concern is the message of Bodhidharma. So he is right way of life. A right way of life is giving respect, giving sharing, so giving from equality, free from exploitation. These are the contents we need for society. Amresh sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Amresh
I think
sir.
I will ask a last one clarification, sir. We will. Sir, in general, because we are studying about.
Ask any question.
Yes, sir.
You ask one close the program.
Okay, sir. Sir, in general, we are using so many research methods. Yes, sir. I am asking, sir. Sir, am I audible, sir? Chennai, sir?
There is network issue, Amar.
Chennai, sir, is it audible, sir?
Sir faces network issues.
Yes.
Yeah,
Audio not clear, Amar. His our voice is not clear, not audible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, please allow me to present, sir.
yes, yes.
Sir, thank you, sir. I think you are not audible. I will ask you, sir, at the end. Right. Thank you very much, sir, for your exploratory keynote address. The 42nd international workshop, the theme itself is a presentation, quantitative research, descriptive research, design and methods. Yeah, before going to our topic, I want to show you one motivational video, about Mary Kom, Northeast Manipur. Sir, Chennai, sir, I will follow. So it is always good to refresh whenever we are attending any program, doing any activities, being a teacher of education, refreshment is very, very important and motivation is very important. After watching this video, we can go through one by one.
मिला हूँ अब जो तुमसे है दिल को
Right. So you can understand in the video what you observed, when you observed, and where, what, where, when. So this descriptive research is going to answer these type of questions. Will the only one of the learning outcome of the presentation describe the descriptive research design and methods. So what is actually a descriptive research? Here, descriptive research, you can see the exactly whenever we are going to see the definition as it is. Descriptive research is defined as a research method that here describe the characteristics of the population or phenomenon studied. Actually, in philosophy also we have phenomenology, the lived experiences. In the same way here, what are the characteristics of population? Suppose Indians means we are lover of peace. We have more religious aspects. At the same time, we respect the religion of others. This type of whenever the foreigners they think about India, unity in diversity. This is the phenomena or characteristics of our whole population in India. This descriptive methodology focuses on here what. That's why this video I showed what type of situation you see, how the trainer, the boxer coach given training to Mary Kom means here Priyanka Chopra. So here very nicely sometimes observational research. Here, the video also is the best example why the coach again and again asked her to go and sit. Go and sit means it is her duty to observe what is happening. So observation is the one of the best uh, methods. So what of research subject than why of a research subject? So what? It never, if you want to know why it is better go for an interview, you can ask us semi-structured or structured or unstructured. The descriptive research method primarily focuses on describing a nature of demographic segment without focusing on why a particular phenomena occurs. We don't have the answer for why. In other words, it describes the subject of the research without here covering why it happens. If you want to know more about here, very wonderful. I'm giving the exact, going to share this one through my blog. Whenever you want, you can, and the video already is live and recorded. You can get through Smart Education, our channel. So here you can see the application definition, characteristics, and application methods, examples, and advantages. One by one, within a given time, I'm going to show you, and the maximum part videos are there, very nice videos to get information about descriptive research, design, and what type of softwares you can use for quantitative data analysis. Right. Here, the characteristics of descriptive research. Here, some distinctive characteristics of descriptive research are here quantitative research. So it is not a quality, it is a quantity. Quantities and numbers. Professor Chennai sir, before delivering the beginning of the keynote address, mentioned about such and research and quantitative number. So here the descriptive research is a quantitative research method that attempts to collect quantifiable information for statistical analysis of the population sample. It is a popular market research tool. Even the management and commerce, the education, economics, the sociology, social work, population studies, all these disciplinary researchers and experts, they can use this type of methods. And uncontrolled here in descriptive research, none of the variables are influenced in any way. The uncontrolled variables. Suppose we are calling in general as dependent variable and independent variable here. So I can take achievement of a student is dependent on their intelligence level or their heredity, environment, number of hours they're taking or studying. So this type of independent variable, we are not in a position to suppose sex, socio-demographic variables. It is not except the medical field or medicine, they're going to change your sex, but you can take it as a gender perspective. In descriptive research, none of the variables are influenced in any way. The issue of observational method to conduct the research. Here, in the observational research also, We have experimental research and non-experimental research or partial. Here, the direct observation, indirect observation, participatory observation, and the nature of variables or their behavior is not in the hands of the researcher. Suppose here, I am not in a position to control your behavior. You are not in a position to control my behavior. But when it is a live class, by seeing the face-to-face interaction, the students understanding their facial expression, I can change whether they are understanding or not. So some based on your topic, the cross-sectional study, descriptive research is generally a cross-sectional study where different sections belongs to the same group or studied. In general, the descriptive research we are taking social status, communities, education. One of my scholars, ninth scholar, Manasi Hollow, is recently had a proposal on professional development of teacher educators. We are going to study what is whether male and female any difference. We are going to study the significant difference or mean difference and the attitudes towards professional development of teacher. Here the group, different groups, social groups, maybe educational groups, number of teaching experience, the basis for further research. Researcher further is the data collected and analyzed from descriptive research using different research techniques. Here questionnaire you can use, the even rating scales, all these are, but some other researcher questionnaire they can use for purely qualitative also. At the same time, you can use for both quantitative and qualitative. Certain things you are not in a position to quantifiable the quality. Suppose a happiness, it is not possible 30% happiness. You maybe say frequency level, I'm always happy, sometimes or rarely or occasionally or situational. So this is it is impossible to say I'm 10% happiness or like that. So here application of descriptive research with examples they are giving here define respondent characteristics, but I'm not going to take this one. We'll so measure data trends, different types of data, age group. Whenever you are studying, suppose you want to marital status, certain things, 18 years and above or up to 17 years. So conduct comparisons here, validate existing conditions, conduct research at different times. Here the allows any number of variables to evaluate. For verification studies and prevailing condition can also be repeated. Here, what are the advantages? Here, diverse data collection methods. It carries out a specific data collection methods such as observation, case studies. In general, there are 3 research designs or descriptive research designs. We are going to one by one and provides here thorough information. Suppose if you use the scale actually the was one type of statements, but when you are using a questionnaire, you can integrate n number of types of questionnaire questions or statements, and you collect information, provides high quality data, even though it's quantitative, but quality data you can also get quick to perform the here and cheap. In general, the qualitative research methods or data you will take the number of sample, total number of sample or population less when compared with the quantitative. When you are increasing the number of quantity, the reliability and validity in general is more. Form here the basis for decision making. So data collection methods, different types of, and here hypothesis also, whether directional or null hypothesis, varied here, natural environment kick to perform, descriptive research method, observational method. This method you can use not only for quantitative, even qualitative research purpose also. And here case study also the same. We can use as a qualitative, and suppose a doctor can do case study of patient, how whether the nutrition or treatment and health based on time, 2 months, 3 months, the corona time, why the quarantine period they made it is 77 to 14 days, because the human body needs that much period to recover, to get strength. That is why they made there is a scientific reason for this time. So survey research here, yeah, questionnaires and polls. Nowadays you can use both online and offline, but only one drawback in online, the randomized or normal probability related. Actually, probability sampling is very difficult because when you are sending, you don't know who are responding, who are not able to. But in a physical mode, you can go and select randomly. But in online, we can. That's why those who are willing to participate in your research, you can. Example of descriptive research here. Here, specialty food group launching a new range of here brochures. There are different types of you can take. We'll go through our PPT. So the descriptive research seeks to describe the current status of an here identified variable. One of my scholars from Nagaland studied on technical and vocational education in Nagaland. We used the questionnaire, what is the present status of technical and vocational education in Nagaland? Another teacher, research scholar did on quality in teacher education in Nagaland. Another one did ICT practices in teacher education program in Manipur. So here knowledge, what is that knowledge? We use both scale at the same time questionnaire also. Provide systematic information about a phenomena. Here teaching process, how it is. Maybe whenever you are going to in the micro teaching, plan, teach, feedback, replan, reteach, refeedback is a phenomena, how it takes. The researcher does not usually begin with an hypothesis. Yeah, after getting what, then only when you can predict. A hypothesis means prediction. Suppose I don't know about the maximum participants away from Meghalaya. Last 10 years I am here, maybe Andhra Pradesh, I am familiar in the Meghalaya. But if I want to study about Manipur or Mizoram, I don't know about the students or teachers more about. Suppose our online participants here, I know majority participants here. I think Burman sir, Jayanta Burman sir, I met him in the UGC HRDC. Now he on the video, I can understand. So by seeing the face, I can, oh yes, I met in the HRDC FIP faculty induction program. So I can predict is what type of researcher, what type of teacher he is. I know about him, so I can predict, yes, he is very sincere and is interactive without knowing. So the descriptive research never go immediately begin with the hypothesis. We know always we need a research questions. We are always what are the factors or how it is in general, how is not good, because what, where and when. Through qualitative, you can get interview methods. A systematic collection of information requires careful selection of the units studied here, careful measurement of each variable. Variable in general, there are so many types, but we are giving importance for 2 or 3: dependent variable, independent variable, or intervening variable. Here, what are the elements of research design? Design itself, fashion design, you are familiar. Maximum politicians or sports personnel and other film actors, they are always models. They have their own fashion purpose. Here you can see the purpose statement, techniques, methodology, objects, setting, timeline, measurement, and analysis method. That's why I told in research design, some of researcher, they say overall everything, but some maximum researcher, they're telling how you are going to collect data and how you are going to analyze data, what type of tools you can use. These type of things are important under research design. What are the characteristics of research design here? Neutrality, reliability, validity, generalization. So to standardize your rating scale or some other quantifiable scales, it is very easy to measure reliability and validity for questionnaire, maybe different types of statements. You can validity index, you can measure. These are the 3 very important research design in descriptive research: the observational research design, the survey research design, and case study research design. Sometimes the researcher, they can say survey research method also they are using instead of descriptive research or descriptive survey method or survey method, survey research, different. The methods of descriptive research here, one, survey. It is the method that includes here detailed description of the subjects or topics. Number two, observation. It is basically a technique that is utilized for observing and recording participants. Actually, the observation, participatory observation or one-way vision screen. In general, the cars, they can see the outsiders, pedestrians or those who are on the road, but those people are outside the car, they are not able to see who are inside the car. This is one-way vision screen, but according to the transport department, it is not good to use the type of screens. That's why they are always suggested to remove that type of screen papers. The third one is case study. You can use the case study techniques for gathering of specific phenomena. It is a method which would enable you to study the situation. Maximum the case study we are considering or doing on special cases. Suppose a student is a regular absent. We can do one case study why he is a regular absent. One student extraordinary performance. What is the reason? What are the reasons for his higher performance? We can utilize these or use these techniques or methods of preparation of the student or learning for others also. In that cases, in general, the number of cases, the medicine, they are doing always the case studies, patient case history report. Whenever someone is hospitalized, they have everything, when they joined, what type of medicines they provided, on what time, what type of tablets they given, how many tablets, and quantity also, quality also, everything them. So here methods, there are different types of steps or various steps and here 6 steps in conducting descriptive research. Identify problem. Any research in general, identification of a research problem is the first step. And review literature after identify problem from broader to narrow. It is always better. Suppose ICT, within ICT, you can select what you want. Suppose ICT infrastructure or effective uses of ICT or ICT in research. Select participants and instruments. Here participants means sample. Suppose the ninth scholar of mine, Manasi, I told she selected a professional development of teacher educators in Assam, but within Assam she belongs to Kamarup metros. So she has taken both Kamarup metro and Kamarup rural. Here the participants and instruments. She's going to construct and standardize one attitude scale and on questionnaire for regarding professional development of teachers. Collect here valid and reliable data. For scales, we can really very easy also split off method by using SPSS, statistical package for social sciences. You can compute reliability and validity, analyze data, software. There are n number of software tools are available. Very easy way, the Excel and the SPSS or and some report here conclusions or report writing. And the other, what type of data in quantitative data collection methods, a document review, systematic review. There are 14 types of reviews you can use for both qualitative research and quantitative research, observation, surveys and questionnaires and interviews. The interviews are here quantitative, at the same time qualitative also. Last we organized 21st to 30th programs, all qualitative research methods. There already I explained everything about what is a research, different types of research techniques, structured, semi-structured and unstructured, probability sampling. So this is very, very good video. After watching, and I found it is useful. That's why I'm going to show you this video, quantitative research designs, not only for descriptive, overall. Over to you.
Good day, everyone. Today we're going to be discussing about the different types of quantitative research designs. To give you an overview, quantitative research is divided into two major types. The first one is experimental research, which is subdivided according to true experimental and quasi-experimental, while the other one is descriptive non-experimental, which is further classified according to purpose, under which we have survey research and correlational research, while the other one is according to time dimension. Some examples are cross-sectional research and longitudinal research. At this point, we shall now be discussing the different types of experimental research designs, starting with the true experimental research. The true experimental research aims to determine causal relationships among variables. Also, it relies on statistical analysis to prove or disprove a hypothesis. It is also worth noting that the true experimental research is considered as the most accurate type of experimental design. Furthermore, it may be conducted with or without a pretest, and it always involves a control group and a test group. Other characteristics of the true experimental research include variable manipulation and random selection of participants. Furthermore, it is worth noting that true experimental research is always conducted in the controlled setting and that intervention is always present. Let's consider this example here. A researcher wants to determine the effect of classical music on academic performance of students. As mentioned earlier, since this is a true experimental research, it must have at least two groups. One would be the control group, while the other one would be the test or experimental group. In the control group, everything is held constant or regular, which means that there would be no intervention, which means that there are no music or there is no music played in their classes. While in the test or experimental group, there is the presence of intervention, which is the classical music. This intervention can further be manipulated through variable manipulation such as frequency and music volume. At the end of the study, the researcher then gives an assessment between the control group without music and the test or experimental group with music by looking at their academic performance. Based on this example, we can have the conclusion that playing classical music while studying has a positive effect on the student's academic performance. Another experimental research design is quasi-experimental research. Similar to true experimental research, quasi-experimental research aims to determine causal relationships among variables. It bears resemblance to true experimental research, but different because in quasi-experimental research, participants are not randomly assigned and it involves the conduct of pre-test and post-test. Furthermore, other characteristics of the quasi-experimental research involve variable manipulation. It's also conducted in a controlled setting and that intervention is also present. Let's look at this example here in which a teacher wants to test reading intervention program as aid for students with low-level comprehension. Since this is a quasi-experimental research, this study would usually start with a pretest. In this example, the pretest would be a reading comprehension test that would help determine who among the students have passed and who among the students have failed. Recognizing the students who have failed is important as these students will be considered as participants for the reading intervention program. From there, we proceed with the intervention, which is the reading intervention program for this particular example. Once the participants have been identified, they shall undergo the reading intervention program, which can further be manipulated through duration of the program, the schedules given to the students, the reading activities given, and the teaching strategy that is used. After undergoing intervention, we now proceed with the post-test, which is another reading comprehension test. The students who once failed the reading comprehension test given before, who have undergone the reading intervention program, will then be given another reading comprehension test to determine whether they are going to pass or still fail. If they have passed, we can have the conclusion that the reading intervention program is effective in improving the reading comprehension of students with low-level comprehension. At this point, before we proceed with discussing other quantitative research designs, let us have first a recap of the similarities and differences between true experimental research and quasi-experimental research. The true experimental research design and quasi-experimental research design are similar because both determine causal relationships. They also have intervention and involves manipulation of variables. They're also the same because both are conducted in a controlled setting. In terms of differences, in true experimental research, there is the random selection of participants, whereas in quasi-experimental research, the participants are not randomly selected. Also, true experimental research may be conducted with or without a pretest, while quasi-experimental research involves pretest and post-test. And finally, true experimental research involves a test group and a control group, while quasi-experimental research does not have any control group. Now let's discuss the types of non-experimental research designs according to purpose, starting with survey research. Survey research is done to gather evidence on people's knowledge, opinions, attitudes, and values on various issues and concerns. The survey research makes use of questionnaires, interviews, and surveys. Also, in a survey research, the variables are not controlled or manipulated, and no intervention is applied. Say, for example, a researcher wants to conduct a survey on the preference of individuals towards mass testing. What she does is to identify the participants and give them the questionnaires that they will answer. Again, in survey research, there is no intervention because the researcher would only wait for the respondents to give out their answers. Also, in survey research, the responsibilities of a researcher focus on recording and tallying the responses, analyzing and interpreting the tally data, and from these particular data, come up with conclusions. Based on this example, the data that the researcher was able to identify is that those who answered yes is 75%, while those who answered no is 25%. From this particular data, the researcher then comes up with the conclusion that majority or 75% is in favor, therefore, Group A is in favor of mass testing. The next type of non-experimental research design according to purpose is the correlational research. The correlational research seeks to interpret the degree of relationship between two or more variables using statistical data. Also, similar to the survey research, in correlational research, variables are not controlled or manipulated, and no intervention is applied. It is also worth noting that while correlational research aims to interpret the degree of relationship between variables, it does not aim to determine cause and effect relationships. Let's consider this example wherein a researcher wants to determine the influence of online gaming to the critical thinking of students. In her study, she hypothesizes that there is no significant relationship between online gaming and critical thinking. In order to conduct this particular research, the researcher needs to find online gamers which will agree to become participants in her study. Again, in a correlational research, there is no intervention because the responsibilities of a researcher focus primarily on gathering the needed data, applying the correct statistical treatment, analyzing and interpreting the treated data, and from there, rejecting or accepting the hypothesis. Now, going back to our online gamers here, these participants are then given instruments that would assess their online gaming habits as well as their critical thinking level. From there, the appropriate statistical treatment will be given in order to determine whether there's a relationship between online gaming and critical thinking, whether an increase in online gaming would result to an increase in critical thinking, or vice versa. At this point, we now focus on discussing the different types of non-experimental research designs according to time. Starting off with the cross-sectional research. A cross-sectional research involves gathering data at a single point in time. It focuses on the same set of variables, after which comparisons are made across variables of interest. Let's take this for example. A researcher wants to identify the spending trends between men and women in their 30s. From this particular research, the findings conclude that women tend to spend more money than men. In a cross-sectional research, the researcher then takes this particular data and compares it with other variables. Specifically, in this particular research, the variables are the age bracket. From there, he will then compare whether there are similarities or differences in terms of the trends and results. Another type of a non-experimental research design according to time dimension is a longitudinal research. In a longitudinal research, the data is collected at multiple points in time. A researcher collects data from the present and again in the future for the purpose of comparing data sets. Let's take this for example. A study on the effect of the use of antiretroviral medicines as maintenance drug for HIV-positive patients. The participants for this particular study are individuals who tested positive for HIV. At the start of the longitudinal research, their HIV viral load is taken and recorded before they are given the medicines, after which their viral load is monitored on a specific schedule in order to determine how the medicines are working. Based on this particular example, you could say that it takes quite a long time before this particular study is finished. Hence, we have the term longitudinal. Now, at this point, we are now going to discuss the similarities and differences between the cross-sectional research and the longitudinal research. In terms of similarities, both are observational in nature. Both the cross-sectional and longitudinal research compare data. However, in the cross-sectional research, it compares the same set of variables with other variables of interest, while in longitudinal research, it compares the same variable and same subjects. To continue, both cross-sectional and longitudinal research have no intervention and no variable manipulation. In terms of the differences, in cross-sectional research, the data is collected at a single period in time, while in longitudinal research, the data is collected at multiple times. And also, in cross-sectional research, it takes a relatively short amount of time to finish, whereas in longitudinal research, it may take a long time before completion. And lastly, we now proceed with discussing the similarities and differences between the experimental research designs and non-experimental research designs. In terms of similarities, both experimental and non-experimental research designs involve numeric data and statistics. However, in experimental research design, there is the involvement of manipulation of variables, while in non-experimental research, there is no manipulation of variables done. Also, in experimental research, intervention is present, while in non-experimental research, there is no intervention given. In conclusion, as researchers, it is important to become familiar with the different types of quantitative research designs, as this knowledge will help us to determine the best research design to use depending on our research objectives.
It's a very clearly mentioned in the video. After knowing about all types of research designs only, you can understand what type of research design is suitable for your research objectives based on your research question. Then only you can select what type of instruments for data collection. Here, the descriptive research, very nicely they mentioned this video also in YouTube. What are the characteristics of what is a descriptive research and characteristics, everything. Word gives single meaning, image gives 1,000 meanings, and video gives million meanings. That's why would like to know this method as a resource person, as a teacher in classroom. So it is very good. Please here definition, example, characteristics and cons research. Explained already. I watched this video. It is over to you.
Hey everyone. Welcome to MIM Learnovate. Today in this video, we will learn about definition, example, characteristics, methods,
Proving the I think some error, just only 1 minute. Barman sir, am I audible? Okay, okay. Think some error, just only 1 minute. Parman sir, am I audible? Okay, okay. Sir, am I audible? Sir, am I audible?
Hey everyone. Welcome to MEGHALAYA. Today in this video, we will learn about definition. Example. Characteristics. Methods. And pros and cons of using descriptive research. So let's get started. Welcome to MEGHALAYA. Definition of descriptive research. In descriptive research, the researcher describes the situation or case in depth in their research materials. This type of research design is purely on a theoretical basis, where the individual collects data, analyses, prepares, and then presents it in an understandable manner. It is the most generalized form of research design. Example of descriptive research. How has the London housing market changed over the past 20 years? Do customers of Company A prefer product C or product D? What are the main genetic, behavioral, and morphological differences between Indian wild cows and hybrid cows? How prevalent is disease 1 in population Z? Characteristics of descriptive research. Quantitative in nature. Descriptive research involves the collection of quantifiable and systematic data that can be used for the statistical analysis of the research problem. Uncontrolled variables. One of the most prominent characteristics of descriptive research is that, unlike in experimental research, the variables are not controlled or manipulated. Instead, they are simply identified, observed, and measured. A basis for further research. The data collected in descriptive research provides a base for further research, as it helps obtain a comprehensive understanding of the research question so that it can be answered appropriately. Cross-sectional studies. The descriptive method of research is generally carried out through cross-sectional studies. A cross-sectional study is a type of observational study that involves gathering information on a variety of variables at the individual level at a given point in time. Why to use descriptive research? To measure data trends. The descriptive method of research can be used to measure changes in variables over a period of time, allowing trends to be identified and analyzed. To compare variables. Descriptive research can be used to compare different variables, as well as how different demographics respond to different variables. To define the characteristics of subjects. It can also be used to determine the different characteristics of the subjects. This can include characteristics such as opinions, traits, behavior, etc. To verify or validate existing conditions. Descriptive research can prove to be a useful tool when trying to test the validity of an existing condition, as it involves conducting an in-depth analysis of every variable before drawing conclusions. Pros and cons of descriptive research. Let's first look at the pros of descriptive research. Multiple methods of data collection. In the descriptive method of research, many different methods of data collection can be used, including the case study method, observational method, and the survey method. Fast and cost-effective. As the descriptive research design often employs the use of surveys, data can be collected from a very large sample size in a quick and cost-effective way. Comprehensive. Descriptive research often employs the use of quantitative and qualitative research in amalgamation, providing a more holistic understanding of the research topic. Have high external validity. Results obtained through the descriptive method of research often have high external validity, as research is conducted in the respondent's natural environment and no variables are manipulated. Cons of descriptive research. Cannot test or verify the research question. A descriptive method of research cannot be used to test or verify the research problem, as the data collected does not help explain the cause of the phenomena being studied. Lack of reliability. If the research problem isn't formulated well, then the data collected may not be entirely reliable. This also makes it more tedious to carry out a credible investigation. Risk of untrue responses. Descriptive research relies on the responses of people, especially when conducted using surveys. There may be instances when people provide false responses, and this will compromise the validity of the data collected and ultimately the results of the research. Risk of sampling error. The descriptive method of research generally employs random sampling while selecting a sample group. The randomness may lead to sampling error if the sample group isn't representative of the larger population. Sampling error would lead to unreliable and inaccurate results. There are 3 key methods used to carry out descriptive research: surveys, case studies, observations. Surveys. In survey research, questionnaires or polls are used to collect information on a specific topic from respondents. Surveys should involve a mix of closed-ended and open-ended questions, as both have their own advantages. Surveys are a cost-effective method of data collection, as they can be conducted through a range of digital and non-digital channels, such as email, website, and phone surveys. Surveys are commonly used to understand the demographics of a geographical region or to gauge public opinion on social or political subjects. Case studies. The case study method involves the in-depth research of individuals or groups of individuals. Case studies involve gathering detailed data on a narrowly defined subject, rather than gathering a large volume of data to identify correlations and patterns. Therefore, this method is often used to describe the different characteristics of a specific subject, rather than to describe generalizable facts. Case studies allow researchers to create hypotheses that can widen the scope of evaluation while studying the phenomenon. Observations. In this method, researchers observe respondents in their natural environment from a distance and therefore do not influence the variables being studied. This allows them to gather information on the behaviors and characteristics being studied without having to rely on respondents for honest and accurate responses. The observational method is considered the most effective method to carry out descriptive research. It involves the collection of both qualitative and quantitative data. I have few recent research papers on descriptive research. These are the research papers. Understanding descriptive research designs and methods. Is descriptive research worth doing? Qualitative and descriptive research. Data type versus data analysis. Science laboratory experiences of high school students across one state in the U.S. Descriptive research from the classroom. Descriptive research and qualitative research. Business and society research, drawing on institutionalism. Integrating normative and descriptive research on values. and meaning of the term descriptive survey research method. I have uploaded them on Google Drive. If you want link to PDF document, then comment below the video. I will share with you the link. I hope this video will be helpful for you. Tell us on which topic you want us to make video by commenting below. Don't forget to comment.
Whatever information you have, better to store in Google Drive and you can share. So descriptive statistics. Maximum research scholars are sometimes misguided by the others. What type of descriptive statistics to use based on your data? If data is normally distributed, you can one type say me very nice. After this video, we can conclude.
Hi, in this video, I will help you choose the appropriate data analysis that you can use for your research using descriptive statistics. This video will discuss frequency and percentage, measures of central tendency or location, and measures of variability or spread. These do not actually test any hypothesis. Descriptive statistics are brief descriptive coefficients that summarize a given dataset, which can be either a representation of the entire population or a sample of it. Descriptive statistics are very important because if we simply presented our raw data, it would be hard to visualize what the data is showing, especially if there is a lot of it. Descriptive statistics, therefore, enables us to present the data in a more meaningful way, which allows simpler interpretation of the data. We will be discussing some of the most commonly used descriptive statistics in quantitative research: frequency and percentage table, measure of central tendency, and measure of variability. Let's start with frequency and percentage tables. This displays counts and percentages for each distinct value found in a variable, normally a categorical variable. Frequencies are the number of times each score occurs in the respective dataset, whereas percentage is a number or ratio that represents a fraction of 100. Frequency and percentage table is normally used to describe nominal variable such as sex, religion, place of birth, etc. In creating frequency and percentage table, all you need to do is to identify the possible data associated with your variable. For example, sex, which data are either male or female, and count how many times these data occurred in your dataset. For frequency, then divide these numbers by the sample size and multiply by 100 for percentage. Here are some examples wherein you can use frequency and percentage table to answer research questions or achieve research objectives. A researcher would like to know what religion his respondents belong to. A high school teacher would like to know how many of her students find her subject difficult or not. A research student would like to describe the grade level of his respondents. And a reporter would like to know whether people agree or disagree with the anti-terror bill. The next is measure of central tendency. A measure of central tendency is a single value that attempts to describe a set of data by identifying the central position within that set of data. As such, measures of central tendency are sometimes called measure of central location. They are also classed as summary statistics. While there are 3 measures of central tendencies, in this video, we will discuss only the 2, the arithmetic mean and median. The first measure of central tendency is the arithmetic mean. This is a mathematical representation of the typical value of a series of numbers, computed as the sum of all the numbers in the series divided by the count of all numbers in the series. The arithmetic mean is sometimes referred to as the average or simply as the mean. There are several assumptions that you need to satisfy before you can use the arithmetic mean. If at least one of the assumptions are not satisfied, then you cannot use it. Listed below are the assumptions. The measurement scale of the variable is at least interval. The data should be approximately normally distributed. and the data should not contain significant outliers. The first assumption can be satisfied if your research instrument gives an interval or ratio data. The second assumption can be checked using normal QQ plot, histogram, or other statistical tools. Finally, the third assumption can be checked using box plots. You cannot use arithmetic mean for nominal or ordinal values because adding the data associated with this kind of variables does not make sense. For example, consider the educational attainment of a certain sample group. This variable is considered as an ordinal level variable. If we try to describe them using arithmetic mean, the value is 2.4. What does a 2.4 educational attainment mean? A second-year college student? Basically, it is not clear to us what 2.4 educational attainment mean. Also, adding college graduate, college level, college level, college level, and college graduate does not make sense at all. In addition, arithmetic mean is quite sensitive to outliers. If there exists at least one outlier in the data, the arithmetic mean does not describe the entire data well. For example, consider the wages of 10 staffs at a factory below. Notice that staff 9 and 10 have significantly large salary compared to the other 8. We may consider them as outliers. If we try to compute the mean salary of the sample, we get 30,700 pesos. Clearly, this value does not represent the sample effectively since 8 of the samples are below it, whereas 2 of them are above the average. Here are some examples wherein you can use mean to answer research questions or achieve research objectives. You want to describe the weight of your family and you found out that the data is normally distributed. You want to describe the daily allowance of your classmates and you assume that it is normally distributed. And you want to summarize your grades in all subjects for the first quarter and you found out that your grades are normally distributed. The next central tendency that we will discuss is the median. This is the middle score for a set of data that has been arranged in order of magnitude. The median is less affected by outliers and skewed data. The only assumption that you need to satisfy before you can use median is that the variable should be at least ordinal. In fact, if your data is either not normally distributed or contains significant outliers, you must use median instead of mean. Definitely, you cannot use median for nominal variables because they do not carry any magnitude. Here are some examples wherein you can use median to answer research questions or achieve research objectives. A doctor wants to describe the pain experience by his patient, as measured as not painful, slightly painful, painful, and very painful. A researcher would like to summarize the weight of his respondents, but the data is not normally distributed. And a manager would like to summarize the monthly salary of his employees, but she found out that it contains significant outliers. Finally, the measure of variability. A measure of variability, sometimes also called a measure of dispersion or measure of spread, is used to describe the variability in a sample or population. It is usually used in conjunction with a measure of central tendency, such as the mean or median, to provide an overall description of a set of data. A measure of variability gives us an idea of how well the mean, for example, represents the data. If the spread of values in the dataset is large, the mean is not as representative of the data as if the spread of the data is small. This is because a large spread indicates that there are probably large differences between individual scores. Additionally, in research, it is often seen as positive if there is little variation in each data group, as it indicates that the respondents are similar. In this video, we will discuss the standard deviation and the interquartile range. The first measure of variability is the standard deviation. The standard deviation is a statistic that measures the dispersion of a dataset relative to its mean and is calculated as the square root of the variance. Standard deviation is used when the arithmetic mean is used to calculate central tendency. If the data points are further from the mean, there is a higher deviation within the dataset. Thus, the more spread out the data, the higher the standard deviation. Another measure of variability is the interquartile range. The interquartile range describes the difference between the third quartile and the first quartile, telling us about the range of the middle half of the scores in the distribution. The interquartile range is often reported along with the median as the best choice of measure of spread and central tendency, respectively, when dealing with skewed and/or data with outliers. Similar to standard deviation, the variation is high if the interquartile range is high. In summary, the table below summarizes what statistical tool should you use to describe your dataset. If you have a nominal variable, you may use frequency and percentage table to describe your data. If you have ordinal variable, you may use median and interquartile range or frequency and percentage table. If you have interval or ratio variable but not normally distributed, contains outliers, or both, you may use median and interquartile range. Finally, if you have interval or ratio variable and is normally distributed, you may use mean and standard deviation. While there are other descriptive statistics that you can use to describe.
So this is very good. So these are all myself and Dr. Srutasini Madam's. Now, I think some of participants already texted feedback form. We are always only taken 5 minutes. Okay, over to Professor Chinnaya, sir. Chennai, sir, you are a co-host now, sir. Over to you, sir.
Congratulations. Your
Yes, sir. Yes,
nice
sir. You are
speech
audible,
and
sir.
nice presentations. Very good. Very good.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Sir, with your permission, we'll go in detail the upcoming programs. Now I can go for vote of thanks and feedback form I can share. Thank you very much to Professor Chennai, sir, for delivering outstanding keynote address. Thank you, sir. Thank you. And now, Professor Prabhasankar Sukla, sir, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Northeastern Hill University, Professor Raja Reddy, sir, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Venkateswara University, Professor Mitali Kowa, ma'am, Dr. Rajendra Prasad Bartukur, sir, Dr. Srutasini Gogoi, madam, Moran College, Professor Mipun, sir, ISTD Chairperson, Professor Dixit, sir, IQAC Director, and noble participants. Actually, the quantitative research methods and the descriptive research will go one by one because we have another 9 or more, this 100 series. Just we completed 42 only. Another 58 programs we have in our hands, so we can discuss everything very nicely. So this is the last slide in the video is very important. Even the Ruby Tamang, my scholar, recently she conducted one studies. He is also asking, he asked, sir, how to minimize the outliers, or what type of whether may I use mean or median. So this is very important. But maximum without knowing this type of data and what type of analysis to use, simply they are going, okay, senior scholars they did, so I am also going to do. No, this is not good. Thank you very much. We will go one by one, and I am expecting your presence for tomorrow also to 5 p.m. our 48th international workshop. So Professor Chennai sir is always available. We are grateful to one and all. Now we are going to close our program with a national anthem. Then immediately I can share the feedback form. You will get your certificate. Thank you very much for one and all, and see you again. So Safir, you posted it is a blur. No, it is actually from your side, I think. From our side, it is very good. Maybe you think from our network issue.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Jai Hind. Thank you. Please submit your feedback form. After submitting, you can check. YouTube viewers also, please submit your feedback form.